Warning, life support critically damaged. Warning, hermetic sealing broken. Warning, systems critically damaged. His focus tries to adjust, but Natakine's head hangs low and it's hard to breathe. Harder still to think, what just happened? Visual feed slowly returns in broken static. Like a cracked camera to the outside world, someone turned the contrast up far too high. Sharp pain shoots through his torso and he can't feel anything below a certain point. His head's still dangling low. Red of his neck, that is. The visual suit finally gets his act a bit more together. A bony blade, a singular limb as long as his neck is tall, is piercing the chassis. Piercing through him. He barely manages to move his view to the side as the world feels like syrup. The others are still standing. This thing has it out for him, Natakine specifically. The High Lord beating down on him. At least they are alive. Maybe I can still recover, maybe if I... His thought is cut short as claws burrow themselves in the gaping opening of the chassis, between the blades tearing through synth flash. One of the blasted rushlings from purchase, and he can't shake it off. Ripped suddenly from the full integration suit of his lichen. His lungs are flooded with the hostile spores and air of hail. His eyes burn beneath the helmet of a caustic environment. He can't move. He's stuck in place, watching on with horror as both hundreds of tiny claws find purchase in the rigid plating of his suit, but also mycelium tendrils push through seams, prying, prodding, ripping as it comes loose, while four sharp claws dig into his flesh. The High Lord having tossed him aside to go after the others next. Hours, hours, hours. Voices pressing against the thin surface of his thoughts, penetrating deeply into the seams of him. Damn. Boink. The helmet comes loose, the body strung up cabling into the frame, some tubes barely attached, oxidized fluid, blood and oil leaking, and the chest plate bursts open, revealing no skin beneath, no flesh, no, there's nothing. The rushling is confused. Its head turns to its overmind. Very few clicks. Hours. So it continues. Dust streams out in vibrant colors impossible to perceive. Shapes and shades not made for the human mind. Remnants of blink space. Of a memory of a man trying to find purchase. It. A gloved hand finds purchase. A single certainty forms within him. If he isn't, he isn't. He isn't, he can't, he. Ours, all, everywhere. Find, connect, are we, find, search, ours. Foreignness pushes its way in until it becomes a whole buzzing background, ripping away at him like billions of hungry teeth. He needs to keep going. He isn't done yet. He can't be. He has a job to do. He has promises to keep. He hasn't seen the end of it all yet. He hasn't found the place he belongs yet. He hasn't. He isn't. He can't. Hours. There was this moment. He had been taken aside company by Sekhmet. Wasn't too long after the last combat overdose, or he thought it to be one, where he ended up wolfing down on the arm he'd had offered him. In the middle of preparation for this mission, maybe a couple of weeks into finally getting sight into what's actually going on. Sekhmet was being quite serious. He had laughed it off. She reminded him of the risk. Sekhmet, of all ASEs. And then he sat down in his room, the empty and nothing creeping in, the anxiety as he was alone. He took up the data player to a new message on the channel labeled Organic Idiot. By the big boss man himself. Next mission, I have a special job for you. It's not like he could decline it, so he responds, What's it about? Keep Lydia safe, no matter the cost. Part of the catcher. Bodyguard works. I told you then, the catch is everything. Answer me this, he had asked. Why are we doing this? So I can see the end alongside them and to defeat an ancient evil. Right, I promise I'll keep him safe. Sounds like some fairy tale level of stakes. You already agreed again. I expect you to keep this to yourself. I did. I'll go over limb here and just assume no matter the cost includes till death puts me down. You are peculiar. Yes, this was very like him. If it can be avoided, avoided. If it can't be avoided, you're already living on borrowed time. They are not. She is not. Ours. As if I would let myself get killed. He laughed. They laughed. Something wasn't right. Something is pushing into the memory. They aren't laughing now. He isn't laughing now. Warning! Critical! Warning! All the noise. He just wants it to be silent. His senses are failing him one by one, but the noise is one that just keeps persisting. I'm sorry. He swore he heard that, like a whisper from Sekhmet. I promise I'll ease your pain. Who was talking? Who is Sekhmet? It's all I can do for you. He can't make sense of words, but there's urgency behind them. That thing, he can feel it, but certainty. It's the one thing drowning out all the noise. Everywhere? Yes. Everywhere was more terrifying than whatever is happening to him. I'm long tired, waiting on the other end. He's so very tired. The cold sweat, he opens his eyes. There's the infinite void between the nothingness. Myriad of colors that hurt to look at and envelop the horizons in a cosmic storm of noise. He blinks. Stares he doesn't know, burn himself behind his retinas, leaving dotted absences in Natakine's field of view. He moves his hand. He can see his body. Slowly it passes by, fracturing and breaking apart into many dashing across the surface of his self. Fingers intersecting with himself. Scared, he flinches. The bit of movement shatters himself into many, echoing after before the nauseating sensation ends. Standing absolutely still, he's breathing in and out heavily. Air that only exists in his memory. There's no deeper, more unsettling fear than the one he's feeling right now. He doesn't remember how he got here, but he can't stay here. Despite the sensation, despite the images overlapping, despite the burning in his lungs, he starts running. Natakine doesn't know where to go, but anywhere is better. Chasing a figure in the distance, and it's just him, running anywhere but here. Hysteric, they are branching out every direction. Anything is better than being stuck here. He screams and it echoes into nowhere. He curls up only to lay there and feeling like he will just disappear if he doesn't keep moving. He touches the other him on the ground as he gets up and shudders. He remembers the sensation of being touched and he's laying there. Oh, same, feeling his hands on his shoulders simultaneously as he touches it. Natakine is lost in blank space. He hasn't been in a long, long time. Every infinitesimal small increment of existence that passes makes it harder to remember who and how he was. Sometimes he catches a glimpse of something like a roiling tide eating at the horizon. It has countless teeth, even more eyes, and it wants to consume him too, and this place as well now that it knows of it. Running, it all blends together, it is of I, us, is, was, merging together in a violent stimulation of senses. Finally, as it felt like he was being swallowed whole, a burning certainty clawed itself to the surface of a roiling tide of a hive trying to break him even here. Everywhere. Because if he isn't somewhere, he is everywhere. He just had to find the right everywhere, but this time without help. But somewhere has to fill a shape that is he. Who is he, anyways, but a memory of the everywhere? He has places to be. Like a rabid beast, the Gashadokuro still tries to slash at the high floor, but it knows it is but the death throes of an individual. A new node of Cyrodex in its birthing. Turning its attention away, the collective knowledge recalls the role of these invaders. Choosing his next target, the Hive Lord closes in on Red, another obstacle that needs to be cleared before he can retrieve what is being stolen from them. His hands lock onto something tenuous. He digs each finger into it to feel beyond the endless void of blink space. Ripping into it, he claws himself to that somewhere, and then it is gone. He falls forward and stumbles somewhat. He feels parts of himself hanging loose, not quite the time to understand what. There's just this thing he can make the outline out of, metal digits, razor sharp, from purchase and moving away Hive Lord. The only thing Natakine can make out. Beyond sensors, blind. The noise is back in full force. Dots on a radar, a peripheral view of others there. One by one, senses come online in strange forms. His view is analog, flickering between thermals, digital, and night vision, some too bright, some in strange contrasts, grids and dots, and way too many things. The noise, his heartbeat, erector put to the stress test. His wounds, a hull breaking down and his rage tangible as a strain on systems and valves. He's missing something, but right now, it doesn't matter. Natakine knows one thing. The one thing that is clear in all of his noise is a target, and it's headed to something marked as friend-shaped. Warnings flash like thoughts across his mind. Something, no, someone is sharing this somewhere with him, but he can't make out who or what. The core is beating still, and it is his second heart that lets him run now. Part of him still stuck on the other side. Natakine follows the shadow of the giant monster that he is slowly starting to remember. Hive Lord. The things that are friend-shape can't be touched by that. They still had some meaning, some importance he needs to find. He vaults over the obstacles in the infinite black sky that merges in the dark. The overloaded senses, a vibrant spectrum at the edge of the blink void, all here and all there. Vaulting over the rock formation, the claws extended, carapace abandoned and chassis drawn half open, the lichen propels itself across in hot pursuit of the Hive Lord. Clear undivided purpose, unaware of anything else. The rushing the Natakine from his frame, squashed by the blade, dragged behind him like a club. The Gasho Dokuro, for all intents and purposes, is moving like a rabid, vengeful spirit. It's too close to a friend shape. Must take it, must break it. A part of him remembers 7 arrows, 7 heads, 7 feasts in the night sky, 7 stars devoured. Indeed, Sekhmet, in a desperate attempt to keep Natakine alive, had devoured 7 of her own stars to light a pathway into blink space. She's painfully aware that she'll be scolded for it by Prometheus, but no one can hear him scream in ones and zeros within the systems of a mech frame. His body, or well, the empty suit, is still laying on the floor, being disassembled on the other side of the mountain by the Cyrodex. The reactor responds, metal melting at the strain. Cable screaming at him, but he pushes every last bit out of it. His hands find purchase, the grip tightens. Metal claws dig in between carapace, several places breaking apart into many, and back into one, through blink space to none, rearranging and tearing as the blade finds purchase against bone. Natakine, grabbing the Hive Lord, energy sparking from the displacer claw, throws it hard to the ground. Heavy buzzing is trying to blind him, and he briefly loses focus. He slips. Almost, but pushes against the many limbs of the Hive Lord. A final clash, synthetic muscle netting, whining, hinges breaking. The giant enemy is thrown back to the floor as it tries to get back up. He's breathing heavily. Steam is vented by the lichen. He's bleeding heavily. The fuel is leaking from several holes behind the combats. And he tries to smile, to say anything to the friend shape he's trying to recognize as red, but everything will be okay, 'cause that's the catch, it has to be. And then heat envelops him. Using the moment presented, heat pushes her frame to the limits that wildfire can carry it. The Hive Lord, stunned and locked in place by Natakine, can't be given another moment of purchase. Her battle instincts sharper than anyone else's. She sees the signs of what she doesn't follow through. No matter who will be caught in the wake, the Genghis Walker erupts in violent flames, burning away what's left, and everyone around it. He's being burned alive. The last warning beeps become a long, drawn-out whine, a scream of his body buckling as second friend shape has closed in and brought flames, too much fire he can't handle, a bright inferno in the dark that surrounds him. The moment of triumph over the Hive Lord is undercut by Red realizing that, unlike his frame, what's left of Natakine won't survive Heat's maneuver. Taking a risk himself to try and save his friend, he had to be the best man for a wedding after all. Thankfully, fear is not currently known to him. Only logic. There's only one way that he can find a solution in time. Circuitry being redirected, he lets the locally run instance of Chang'e use his own brain as additional RAM. Without eyes, without implants, even just the nanofraction of a millisecond is enough to almost make him pass out. But he finds the solution. Calling out to Lydia, utilizing the directions that he and Chang'e calculated before the last gravity grenade she still has from Listing's arsenal. Close to passing out himself, the fire dies down, the Hive Lord unmoving, the Cyrodex swarm stunned as his planetary overmind quiets. Natakine, well, What's left of him, standing motionless, half-melted frame finally having ceased its violent rampage. They were victorious. They are all alive. The one thing Red Lily and he'd know just as much is just temporary reprieve. They can't get out now. They won't survive another engagement. His breath touches somewhere, fading rapidly. He can feel himself lose what little grip he had regained as everything is torched away by the heat. But unlike before, he can feel a pull. Something just moved him. Someone tried to talk to him, but he couldn't make out the words as his tender grip on the fabric of spaces is loosening. And Natakine desperately tries to hang on. He hears that voice again. System administering failsafe countermeasures. What? He remains semi-conscious in the right place. The edges of blank space receding, he hears her. I hear the pleas of the desperate and wretched. I heal the ill that befalls you. Sigmund, is that you? But no one answers. It's just a memory of a distant place in a different battlefield, when he had held a bunch of soldiers from the Empire accountable. What got him here in the end? Little more than a bystander in a foreign body. What's left of the Lycan is moving on its own, offering to carry the signal beacon, following the rest up onto the rocky hill. The war back to Capri. There's so many things he wants to say, but he has no voice. Messages in system channels, like voices from a distant phone line, pierce his thoughts as if to answer them. You will be fine. You did adequately. Then, finally, his senses are blanketed in the comforting nothing of rest as he passes out.